He's been my barber for 12 plus years. What y'all know about loyalty, man? For real. How long do you think it'd take you to perfect your craft?
Lifetime.
Or you'll never perfect your craft, huh?
It'll be something new. Or something old that comes back.
What made you start cutting hair?
I got in trouble with the law, couldn't get a job in my field. So one of my boys, Bill, over in Antioch, had a barber shop. Told me to come through, get my license, cut hair. So I went to Stockton Barber College. Traveled on that Amtrak every day from downtown Antioch all the way to Southside Stockton. Walked my way, little butt up. Downtown. Did that till I was done with the program. Came back out to Antioch. My boy that told me I had a position with him at his shop told me that he couldn't do it anymore.
Wow.
He had problems, right? So I was a barber without a job, man. So I started looking around. So one of my OG partners, Ted, hooked me up with Augie. He said, Augie's a little different. He's a real gangster. He said, but keep your nose clean, keep your mouth shut, and your eyes open, and you'll be all right. And he's the one, man. Augie's the one.
Put you in the game, bro.
He put me on.
He's a real one. He's a real gangster, say. How long were you working with Augie for?
I was 10 years.
10 years? If it's one thing that you could pull away from Augie that you said that was real vital to your career, what would it be?
Attitude. Attitude. You be the best barber in the world. If you don't got the attitude, you never last.
Right.
Hey!
Man, how you doing?
That's my man Cam Ron.
What's up, Cam?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Cam Ron, local fire chief.
Yeah? You mind if I get you on camera?
Okay.
Can you see yourself on there?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cameron saves people's lives. What do you do? Vince saves people's lives too, because he makes them look good. So you gotta coexist.
I help create lives too.
I heard you.
Many of you guys, your old ladies would give you nothing if it wasn't for me.
You heard it from himself, the man himself.
I create lives.
What do you like most about barbering?
The people. I have met congressmen, judges, chiefs of police. I have met murderers, international gun smugglers, drug dealers, and I've never had a dull conversation with either of them, any of them. You know, you talk to so many people, man, and they tell you their most intimate secrets here,
right?
You know, in this chair. And after a while, you feel like you've lived 1,000 lives, man.
It gives you a whole new perspective, huh?
Man, it'll twist your mind around. You look at the world a whole different way. Through the eyes of 1,000 different heads. Haircuts. Through the eyes of 1,000 different haircuts, man.
What inspires you to keep cutting hair?
It gives me a chance to express myself through making people feel good and look good. A lot of times I get so involved that I neglect myself, you know, like the mechanic who's got a busted car. That's me. Walk around looking like a bum so that my fellas and all my guys can walk around looking like a bunch of kings. I do my best, man. I do my best.
Would you say this is more than just a career?
I'd say it's a lifestyle. There's nothing else like it. Nothing else like it. Some jobs are 9 to 5, man, but other jobs, they become part of you. I think that's one of the reasons why barbers don't go by Jim and Bob and Pete. They go by Pete the barber, Jim the barber, Bob the barber.
Right.
You know, the barber becomes part of who they are. And people look at them differently when they know that they're a barber. I think it's a fading industry because it's not really an industry at all. I think it's more important than that. I think it's a part of Americana. And I think the minute we lose our barbers, we lose another part of what makes us American. You know, we try to commercialize everything, commercialize food, entertainment, education, and even grooming. You know, once we commercialize this and everything goes the way of the super cuts and the mega cuts and everything else, you're gonna lose a whole part of America. Never say no. Never say no. If somebody asks you, you know how to do something, be honest. Tell them, maybe I don't have a lot of experience with that, maybe I want to try, but never say no. Every time you say no, that's a skill you'll never develop. You know, I see a lot of barbers, met a lot of barbers that only cut a certain type of hair, a certain ethnicity. You know, I know a lot of barbers that think it's all about the money. They personally or purposefully send people away that are hard to cut. Guys that can't go anywhere else, you know, because they want the easy money. They want guys in and out of the chair, the quick fade, you know, and they lose the opportunity to develop a new skill, you know, by saying no. So that would be my advice, never say no, in anything. And that's in any kind of occupation, in any kind of vocation, you know, you never say no. Learn that new perspective.
Would you say you learn every day?
Every day. And you gotta keep it up because you forget every day. So if you're not learning every day, you know, there's a leak at the end of our mental buckets, you know? We lose memories, we lose things every day. And if you're not constantly filling that bucket up, you eventually run dry, man.
How many people you say you cut?
Man. Oh man, tens of thousands probably?
Tens of thousands?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You cut all ages?
Yep, I've cut them as young as 6 months, all the way up to 96. And one thing that's interesting, something that a lot of barbers don't do, is I even cut the dead. I've cut a number of deceased people. In the casket, on the slab. I have been asked by personal friends of mine to groom their fathers and loved ones. And I've even done it as a request of the funeral home itself. And I think that's a lost art already. I think if you were to ask 1,000 barbers, there might be one out of 1,000 that's ever cut a deceased person. Maybe even less than that, man. I remember something that Augie told me when I wanted to become a barber. You know, I was probably working there for a few months, and he told me to pack up my stuff. We were going somewhere. I said, all right, so I packed up my gear, got ready, and he drove me down the street to the Pittsburgh Funeral Chapel. And we got out and I said, Augie, what are we doing here? And he said, when you're a barber, son, he said, you're a barber for when they're young, when they're adults, and when they're real old. He said, and there's men there. You're still their barber when they die. Now I'm going to show you how to cut a deceased man with all respect and all humility. And he showed me. He showed me how to treat even a deceased person, you know, an empty body, a soulless body, with respect, with love. And it seemed almost like Augie took even more care with this body, knowing that it was deceased, knowing that there were loved ones outside, you know, those doors, waiting to see their loved ones for the last time, you know?
Yeah.
The last haircut is not going to grow back. You know, and I think that's a lost art.
Do you have rules to your shop? 5 rules?
I don't like taking the noise in the vein. I don't like hearing it. I don't like too much cussing. I don't want to hear cussing in front of women. And I don't want to hear sex talk in front of kids and women. And that's about it, man. Everything else is open. I like talking about politics. I like talking about religion. I like talking about personal stories. I want to hear what people think. I'm not scared to get into debates.
Right.
If I don't know something, I'll learn. And what's the best way to learn? Hearing from the people that know it, you know?
Right.
That's the only rules in this shop, man. I always thought it was funny that in the barbershop textbook, they tell you don't ever get into conversations about politics or religion. And I'll tell you what, man, that's the one thing I love talking about. Because what's more important in life is how you think about the world, you know? Kind of effect that you're going to leave on the world, you know? And we do that in our faith, our fidelity to God, fidelity to our state, you know, our countries, our nations, which really is just a representation of our families. That's all a nation is. That's all a government is. It's just representation of our family. I get guys that come in here and they're so stressed out from the whole week. Their families, you know, their wives are yelling at them, their kids hate them, the boss is about to fire them, and they come in here and we have a great conversation, we laugh. I've even had a couple guys crying here, man. But I've never, ever had a guy that came to the barbershop and left angry, left sad, left depressed. They always left with a smile on their face, man. And it wasn't always just because of the haircut, man. Some of these haircuts you can get anywhere, you know? A lot of times it's just the personality, man. It's what you put into it as a barber, you know? When a guy comes in I haven't seen in 6 months, I remember his wife, I remember his kids, I remember what was going on the last time I talked to him. You know, I asked him about that job, that boss. You know, it's a personal business. You know, I'm not here unclogging your drains. You know, I'm not a plumber. It's more than that.
I am Vincethebarber.
Dark desert highway, cool